Hello, good morning. December 30th. Welcome to Daily News Commentary. So, today we have again the news of FCRA issue in here. So, not going to detail it any further. So, we'll go through that. Then into the editorial page, we have a couple of articles in the form of the first one, the Israel-Iran issue. So there are a few map locations: Syria's Latakia port, I guess I'm pronouncing it right, Golan Heights. These are important areas which could be there for prelims in the form of map study. Read that. But besides that, this article is focusing on the Israel-Iran conflict now being reflected in the Syrian crisis through proxy wars. Iran has its base with Assad regime in Syria, and also Hezbollah is there. So these two groups are based in Syria, and obviously Israel sees it as a security threat and then goes about it. So it's basically a reflection of the situation in the Middle East, where the Arab countries, Iran and Israel have a triangular relationship that we had discussed earlier. But now the Arab countries and Israel are coming together, so that is also there. So it helps you to understand that process here. Read that. Now the next topic is the Nord Stream pipeline. This is for prelims, I would say. It has not much significance as far as India is concerned, because it's between Russia and the Europe. So it's the EU or Europe Russia balance that is being altered through the pipeline. So just understand what the pipeline is. It's a big scheme, so you can obviously understand. You need to understand the project, what that is. But dilemma, latest developments, all these things are not much required, because maximum it could be one dimension in a topic like EU or Russia, not beyond that. Going forward, next one is the Aadhaar linking project, and its efficiency is being criticized by the author. So this is besides the electoral reforms that we've seen recently, it looks at what the major claim that was used for the significance of Aadhaar was it bringing more transparency and efficiency in the welfare schemes and welfare funding, reduces wastage of financial resources. But the author is saying that this is not the case. This is just a claim made by the government, and the reality is not the same. But you don't have to. So by that, it's just one argument, right? Our topic would be maybe the Aadhaar and its efficiency or inefficiency, whatever critically discuss. So there you have to just mention this one point. So all the studies in between, all the articles in between that the studies he is looking into are irrelevant for our purpose. Just understand the basic premise the author is arguing about. That's it. Then not required Mayavathi's issue, opposition unity not required. Then mixing news with views dangerous. So now news in India is often opinionated and biased. So biased is obviously. So instead of plain reporting, it is going for opinion. So that has several implications in India's society, polity, etc. Just may not be a full-fledged question, chances are less, but you need to understand the issue, essay, and could be some dimension, some dimensions as in a few, maybe questions related to elections, communal harmony, things like secularism, things like that. Center had justified FCRA's non-renewal. FCRA and the issue why Center is opposing NCRA is briefly discussed here, but you can look into other reasons. Like, for example, there was an IB report stating, malintention from several NGOs with respect to India's national security and national interest. So those are there. Read into that. Dairy sector, you have to understand dairy sector. We'll come to that the next page. Aryan invasion, what that is, don't need to go into the entire article, not required. Just understand what is the theory of Aryan invasion. Throwaway price, this is in criticism of disinvestment policy in India, disinvestment and privatization. So we had made a note already, or rather I had asked you to make a note. So if you have not, there's a good write-up in the Telegram channel, so you can look up there. Link you will get in the description. So avade koduthittund, just search for disinvestment, you will get the article. Then Atal Innovation Ranks, prelims perspective, mostly understand who issues it, or who prepares it, or what's its purpose. Purpose is required, very necessary. The details of the institutes and everything is not required. That's just factual, trivial information. Don't go for it. GNBS, NPA. Now NPA, how much is there? Why NPA? What's the impact of NPA on India, on economy as a whole, on the sectors of economy different. So all those things you need to understand, on banking, on manufacturing, etc. On also you can understand the people and government as such. Now measures taken by government and way forward to solve the NPA crisis. Very important article, very important part. Similarly, fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Why fiscal deficit? Impact of FD fiscal deficit, positive and negative impacts are there. Some argue that a slightly manageable fiscal deficit is good, whereas the consensus is that if it overshoots, that creates issues, problem for any economy. So we can take the case of Greece in 2015 and something. They faced sovereign crisis. Right. That's there. And after that, medical malady is not required. Dispute of Belgavi, what's the issue here? We had discussed yesterday. Though you don't have to go into the too much details of it. This is just an issue, an example of interstate boundary dispute or regionalism at play. Societyയിലുള്ള regionalism എന്നുള്ള ടോപ്പിക്കിൻ്റെ ഒരു റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്. So you can expect maybe a question inspired from this one. The victory for the dairy sector. This is an old article from the archives. So dairy sector in India is very significant. You can look at the number and the contribution. Significance of dairy sector in India, its potential, issues on limitations in the dairy sector, threat of, here you can use threat of FTAs, free trade agreements, and how to way forward, all these things. Now it can be also be looked at from the perspective of other issues like doubling farmers' income, similarly diversification of rural economy, doubling farmers' income, diversification of rural economy. Dairy sector is a main focus area because it has more potential for realization of profit or income for the farmers, and it also helps us to move away from the grain dominated segment. So, and cooperative sector, currently it is more dominated in the cooperative sector. So that you can read, find some case studies, best practices, Amul, etc. Their mother dairy is there, so you can look into that. All right, that's it for today. Have a good day.